they say legends never die. But sometimes they come back louder, faster, and meaner than ever before. And that's exactly what Ford has done in 2026. The Mustang Boss 429 is back. Not as a tribute, not as a limited edition nostalgia trip, but as a full-blown, modern-day muscle car masterpiece that blends old-school muscle attitude with cutting-edge engineering. Today on AutoFusion, we're diving deep into what might be the most exciting Mustang Ford has built in decades. Buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride. Welcome to AutoFusion, the home for true car enthusiasts. If you live and breathe performance, design, and automotive history, this is where you belong. We break down the machines that make your heart race, and the Boss 429 is exactly the kind of car we love to talk about. Let's get into it. First, let's set the scene. The Boss 429 name has history, and I mean serious history. Back in 1969, Ford built the original Boss 429 for one purpose: to homologate a massive 429 cubic inch V8 for NASCAR. It was raw, it was rare, and it was unlike any other Mustang of its time. Fast forward to 2026, and Ford isn't just slapping the badge on a car for marketing. They've engineered this thing from the ground up to live up to that legacy, and in many ways to surpass it. Let's start with the heart of the beast. Under the hood, you'll find a 7.0-liter naturally aspirated V8. Yes, you heard that right. Ford resisted the urge to go full electric or turbocharged. This engine is a modern-day reimagining of the original Boss motor, built with lightweight forged internals, titanium valves, and a high-flow intake system that sounds like it's inhaling the road ahead. It's tuned to deliver a staggering 780 horsepower and 680 pounds-ft of torque, all sent to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual transmission. And before you ask, there's also a dual clutch option for those who want lightning-fast shifts without the third pedal. The sound this thing makes is otherworldly. Start it up and you're greeted with a deep, chest-rattling idle that instantly tells you this isn't just another performance Mustang. Rev it up, and the exhaust roars with an unfiltered mechanical ferocity that feels alive. It's the kind of sound that makes you glance over your shoulder. Not because you're worried about the cops, though you should be, but because you want to make sure everyone around you hears what you're driving. Now, muscle cars have often been criticized for being great in a straight line, but not much else. That's where the 2026 Boss 429 flips the script. Ford has given it a completely reworked suspension system with adaptive magnetic dampers, a widened track, and massive 20-inch forged wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires. The result: this Mustang is just as happy tearing up a mountain pass as it is destroying the quarter mile. Steering feedback is razor-sharp, body roll is virtually non-existent, and the chassis feels planted even when you push it to the limit. Of course, you can't talk about the Boss 429 without mentioning its aggressive new look. From the moment you see it, you know it's something special. The hood bulge is massive, a direct nod to the original, but now sculpted for aerodynamic efficiency. The front fascia is more aggressive than the GT500s, with larger air intakes feeding both the engine and brake cooling systems. The rear end features a functional diffuser, quad exhaust tips, and an adjustable carbon fiber spoiler that can increase downforce for track days or reduce drag for high-speed runs. The body itself is a blend of aluminum and carbon fiber, keeping weight down to around 3,700 pounds. Impressive considering the size of the engine and the tech packed inside. And speaking of tech, let's talk about the interior. Ford has found a way to balance modern comfort with retro-inspired design cues. You'll find leather and Alcantara seats with Boss 429 embossing, an analog-style tack front and center, and a flat-bottom steering wheel wrapped in suede. But there's also a massive 13-inch infotainment display with Ford's latest SYNC5 system, full wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a premium B&O sound system, though honestly, you probably won't use it much because the exhaust is the best soundtrack you could ask for. One of the most interesting features is the new Heritage mode. Activate it, and the digital cluster transforms into a classic 1969-style layout, complete with retro fonts and colors. It's a small touch, but one that shows Ford understands the emotional connection people have with this nameplate. Performance-wise, the Boss 429 is a monster. 0 to 60 happens in just 3.1 seconds, and the quarter mile flies by in 10.8 seconds at 133 miles per hour. Top speed? An electronically limited 205 miles per hour, but the real magic isn't in the numbers, it's in the way it feels. Plant your foot in first gear, and the rear tires dig in while the front end lifts slightly, just enough to remind you this is pure muscle. But when you get it into a corner, the balance and grip make it feel almost European in its precision. It's as if Ford took the soul of an American muscle car and taught it the discipline of a European supercar. Fuel economy? Let's be honest, if you're buying a Boss 429, you're not thinking about miles per gallon. But thanks to cylinder deactivation and a smart engine management system, you can cruise on the highway at a surprisingly reasonable 22 mpg. Not bad for something with nearly 800 horsepower. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Ford is only building 3,000 units of the 2026 Boss 429, and each one will be individually numbered. Buyers will also get an exclusive track day experience with Ford performance engineers, where they'll teach you how to get the most out of your car without, wrapping it around a telephone pole. Pricing starts at $115,000, a serious chunk of change for a Mustang. But considering the performance, rarity, and heritage, it's actually competitive. And if history is anything to go by, these will likely appreciate in value over time, just like the original Boss 429s. The return of the Boss 429 isn't just a marketing move, it's a statement. In a world where performance cars are going electric and soundtracks are artificial, Ford has doubled down on what makes driving truly exciting. It's loud, it's unapologetic, and it's built for people who still believe that cars should make your palms sweat and your heart race. So, is the 2026 Ford Mustang Boss 429 the ultimate modern muscle car? In my opinion, absolutely. It's not just about speed, though it has plenty of that. It's about the connection between driver and machine, the way it makes you feel when you grab that shifter, hear that engine scream, and know you're piloting something built with passion. Here at Auto Fusion, we celebrate cars like this because they represent something bigger than horsepower and lap times. They're rolling pieces of history, brought back to life for a new generation to experience. The Boss 429 is proof that you can respect the past while pushing the limits of what's possible today. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into Ford's latest masterpiece, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to Auto Fusion, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming reviews. We've got more legends, more supercars, and more behind-the-wheel experiences coming your way. Until next time, keep your foot down, your hands steady, and your love for driving alive. This is Auto Fusion, signing off.